All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give it just a second before we begin this very, very important broadcast here. I just want to confirm that we have a good sound transmission and we have a good video here. You guys see me and hear me okay? Yes, sir. Okay. See a few others before we... Are the notifications rolling this morning? Okay, good morning, guys. All right, well, today is Thanksgiving Day, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, a lot of us, myself included, are looking forward to spending time with family and having a nice meal. There are some of us that don't have family to spend this day with. And I want to extend the warmth and camaraderie and companionship of all of our relationship together. You know, I don't know a lot of you, and but at the same time, I do, because we have a very common mindset. We have a very common goal in life, and we have a very common, effectual and fervent desire for what is right for humanity. And it's very important that we stay on that course, ladies and gentlemen. I had a wonderful day yesterday with my children fishing at one of my very special places. And we came back with a lot of fish and spent a lot of time looking at the sky and the horizon and the weather. And we got a little bit of rain last night in spite of all the interference from all the chemtrails and everything else. But it wasn't all cookies and cream, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't all joy, because I have in my hands here studies from the 1970s. I mean, I got lots of these things. This one's on millimeter wave radiation, folks. This one's on 5G. And I want to tell you something, folks. There are people out there that don't want to believe how serious this problem is. Right now, we are dealing with the low-level bombardment with frequencies that have been around us for a good 20 years now. But when I read these reports, that talk about both the microwave signals as well as the millimeter wave signals, and when I read how microwaves have effects, that when we have begun the introduction of millimeter waves into our environment, they're going to work synergistically together to destroy us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail as to what this report says, because this is just one of several, but I will tell you that what I want you to do and what I want you to get out of this discussion today. And I don't want you, you know what? I don't want you going out to Black Friday tomorrow and buying one single wireless device. That's why I'm having this broadcast. I don't want any of you listening to the sound of my voice right now to go out tomorrow and buy one electronic device that runs without a cable or a wire. You cannot bring any more wireless devices into your home, folks. You simply cannot. Okay? You know, Black Friday is going to start living up to its name pretty soon, folks, because if you keep going out and bringing home all this weaponry, then Black Friday is someday going to turn into a black reality for a lot of us. And what you do not only affects you and your children, it affects your neighbors. Because if you're broadcasting this stuff through your walls, you're hurting your neighbors. I live in a single-family home with quite a bit of setback and distance between myself and my weaponized idiot neighbors. And let me explain. Because my neighbors know all about how dangerous I have alleged these microwave systems to be. And every one of my neighbors has chronic health problems. There isn't a person in my house that has any chronic health problems. None. None whatsoever. And the chronic health problems that I'm surrounded by, not on my home, but by other homes, they run the gamut of brain tumors, cancer, autoimmune disease. And these are the things that you expect from people that are being bombarded with microwave weaponry. And it's the stuff they bring into their own home. It's the stuff they plug into their own wall. And it's the stuff they turn on with their right index finger when they push the on button. And it's the stuff that they look at, worship, and idolize in spite of the person that lives right next door to them's warnings about how dangerous these things are. Well, you know, I guess they love the doctors, the drugs, and the hospitals because they're going to become their best friends in the near future. But I wanted to read this to you. This is an incredible piece of information here. This was published in 1977. It came out of the Soviet Union. And this was a CIA document, folks. I got my hands on this. Somebody was willing to send me the link. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. My email is joeimbriano777@gmail.com. And if you find something, run into something, or stumble onto something that you think I need to see, and that you think I need to understand, and you think I need to decipher, then by golly, send me what you got. I can't respond to every single email, but I darn near read all of them. And it sometimes takes me hours to do so, but I do it because I do my homework so you don't have to, ladies and gentlemen. At any rate, what we're talking about here, what was studied here, is the millimeter waves in the range of 5 to 8 millimeters, and that's about 60 gigahertz, just below 60 gigahertz and just above 60 gigahertz. 60 gigahertz exactly is Y-gig. That's going to be the new Wi-Fi. That's the crap they're going to have you bring into your house that's going to broadcast millimeter waves inside your four walls that you call a home or an apartment, that they call an electronic surveillance grid, scrying mirror, psychotronic warfare Ouija board, coffin. Because that's what your home is going to turn into when you bring in these devices. It's in the infant stages right now of developing into that. And Black Friday is all about going out and buying a bunch of crap you don't need, thinking you do. And God help us if it's wireless, folks. I'm urging all of you out there, that's why I've called this video Black Friday, do not bring home any wireless devices into your homes. You're affecting other people with these things. If you're in an apartment or a townhome or a condo, you're irradiating your neighbors. And I don't care how stupid they are. I don't care how idiotic they are. I don't care how much you don't like them. Don't hurt them. They're already hurting themselves. Don't compound the problem. One of the things we hear about with the 5G systems is that they're going to need to be using more power than they're using right now. And so, you know, they're prepping us for a closer proximity to the transmitting systems. The antennas are going to be a lot closer to us, and they're going to have to be higher powered than what we have right now with these current systems that are in place. So we're going to get up to, I've read in some cases, about a milliwatt per square centimeter in terms of power density. That's about where this stuff's going to be. And it just so happens that this study is right about that power level, power density, and this particular size of the millimeter wave, 5 to 6 millimeters, which is, you know, give or take just under and over 60 gigahertz. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 5G. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with 5G is its ability to data mine and to develop algorithms and to eavesdrop and to snoop on all of us and to log and categorize every keystroke, appliance usage, duration, thought, internet search, television browsing history, internet browsing history, all of our financials, our texts, everything you do on a computer or on a wireless enabled device. The reason they want this type of system in place is because it's like building an interstate superhighway to carry and transmit massive amounts of data. And believe me, folks, they're going to need it for a lot of reasons. One reason they're putting this in is for the drone army. They're going to have a bunch of drones that can basically kill you if they identify you as being needed to be taken out. There will come a day someday where these drones with facial recognition will be laser beaming you between the eyes. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And you wait until they disarm us, folks, and you see the weaponry they're going to roll out. You think these video games and these creatures that they have in these video games are imaginary? They've got technology like this, folks, and they're going to aim it at us. But aside from the surveillance grid that they're building, this is a kill grid, folks. And look, I'm not going to be like these fear mongers out there that tell you that it's hopeless, that there is no solution to all this stuff. And you know who those people are. You got like people like specifically NASA Tavares, okay? What's her name? The lady that looks like the lady from TBN with the dark glasses. She looks like that lady from TBN. She's a fear-mongering, really down. I mean, you listen to her, you're going to end up in a psych ward eventually because she's going to make you depressed because she's going to tell you there's nothing you can do. She already told that to a good friend of mine, tell him to shut his YouTube channel down because, oh, stop going to these meetings and stop making videos and just put my stuff up and stop your fight. See, that's how these high-level operatives operate, folks. They'll be given inside information and they'll be allowed to run with it. And then they'll tell you that you need to look in this particular direction for the threat. You know, like, for example, there's a big discussion right now. I'm going to get off topic for just a second because this is all connected. There's a lot of discussion about directed energy weapons causing these fires in Northern California, folks. Listen to me. Deborah Tavares was given inside information about these fires, just like now Alex Jonestein was given inside information about 9/11. These people have connections to high-level people in the government that are behind a lot of stuff. And they're allowed to have advanced information so they can, in the future, gain credibility and control the narrative. There's a reason why PG&E kept the power on, folks. Even though they told all their customers they were going to shut the power off, during this weather event, they left the power on. Now, why is that? Well, think about this for just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. I want you to think about this. And these people have blood on their hands because let me explain something to you. Let me explain this really clearly. There was advance warning of these fires. There was advance warning that there was going to be a hit. And let me tell you why they needed this electrical grid still up. They need the power still on these homes. And by the way, there aren't these lasers in space, ladies and gentlemen. Everything's on the ground. How do you think you're going to get something in space? You got to put it up there on a balloon. See, there's no satellites. There's nothing floating around up there. You know the old saying, what goes up must come down? They're not freaking kidding, okay? But see, if you buy into this, oh, they're going to get us from space, then you have to curl up in a ball and it's all hopeless, right? No, here's the deal, folks. There's a reason why PG&E left the power on. Because they needed the electricity to blow up people's refrigerators and air conditioners through the smart meters, through the power surges that were directed into these devices because they have propane and natural, they have flammable gas refrigerants in them. You see, folks, the new air conditioners, they don't have R12 or Freon in them anymore. They have a flammable pressurized petroleum gas in them. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? Listen to me. Look, can you see me? Listen to me. You know how we could have stopped these fires, folks? By unplugging the refrigerators and the air conditioners, because then the PG&E power surge couldn't have blown up these people's homes. Do you know what happens when you take a propane tank and you hit it with a 50 caliber from about 1,000 feet away? Oh my gosh, you've never done that? You've never been out to the desert with me when I was younger. We used to take propane, you know, those propane canisters, hit them with the 50 cal. That's right. That's right. You want to hear an explosion like nobody's business? Do you know what the propane tank in your refrigerator compressor can do if it's ignited? Yeah, that's it, folks. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why PG&E didn't shut the power off is because they needed the power. Because in order to ignite the refrigerators and the air conditioners in those homes, you needed an electrical surge. And you can't get one unless, number one, you have a freaking smart meter to control what it goes to. And number two, power to the smart meter. And kaboom! And that's why you saw houses burning and the trees didn't burn. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Now, we have people like NASA Tavares who will tell you, oh, that, it's hopeless, that they've got these space weapons and they can laser beam down on our houses. You really think, okay, I'm sorry I'm getting off track here, but you got to understand something. She's been given information to get you to look up instead of looking at your freaking wall socket. You know how you protect yourself? You unplug this stuff. That's how you protect yourself. You unplug these devices. You don't bring the weapons into your house. You see, the operatives, let me explain how these operatives operate, folks. They have you looking at the red herring, and in NASA Tavares's case, they have you looking for space weapons. They have you looking for these magic things that float around up in the sky instead of that electrical outlet and that propane canister inside your refrigerator. Now, that's just one example of how an operative cons people into being destroyed. She's an operative, folks. How do you get enough power up in space to laser thousands of houses and catch them on fire? Well, I can tell you right now, I have several lasers that run on rechargeable batteries, and they could blind the living daylights out of somebody coming at me from a distance. And to be honest with you, some of these lasers, these tactical lasers, are more effective than a rifle. Because if you can't see, you can't do anything. And if you can blind your enemy, then kaboom. You can't get enough power up in the sky to start a fire in a house off of some solar panel and an inverter and a laser, okay? Do you know what it takes? Do you know how much a battery weighs? Do you know how much a solar panel weighs? Okay, you might be able to get something floating around on a balloon with a solar panel and a power source to communicate with something on the ground that has a very sensitive receiver. You might be able to accomplish some radio communications, but to generate enough power up in the sky to laser beam a house and catch it on fire? Do you know what kind of machinery you'd have to have up there? You'd have to have a huge airplane flying around with its own power source. Now, did the Air Force drive around all these big planes and start zapping a bunch of houses? No. No. Am I saying that there weren't some energy weapons used in these fires? I'm not saying that. I'm telling you right now that some of those areas were sprayed with accelerants. I had a guest on explain that was done in the weeks before this event. And of course, there could have been some fires being set around the perimeters, especially up in Paradise. But the homes were blowing up and catching on fire from within, ladies and gentlemen. And those power surges were coming through the smart meters into the appliances. And if you have a propane tank inside your refrigerator instead of a compressor full of Freon, which is an inert gas, and one has to wonder why we're going into liquefied, compressed gas inside, compressed flammable gas inside refrigerators and air conditioners now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's got a ticking time bomb inside their kitchens, in their bedrooms, in their air conditioning units, in their refrigeration units, even the heat pumps, all of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. You're being told to curl up in a ball, assume the fetal position, and suck your thumb and ask for your blankie in your hot pocket, because it's all hopeless if you listen to people like Deborah Tavares. And she's even had the audacity to contact yet another one of my friends to tell them to stop going to meetings and stop their activism, even though they're successful in beating back Agenda 21 rollouts and usurpations by other governmental entities at the local levels. Yeah, she's picking up the phone telling people to stop their activism. At the same time, she's telling people to worry about the boogeyman up in the sky that's going to laser beam your house. But she won't talk about the flammable compressed gas in your refrigerator connected to the frickin' smart meter. Here you go, folks. Okay, enough of her, and honestly, enough of her bullshit. And in my opinion, I think she has blood on her hands for not warning these people to unplug all their appliances, because she apparently knew this was coming. She puts out these videos. They have a plan to do this. Well, then why didn't she tell everybody what the plan was? Enough, folks. Enough of this witchcraft with these people that wear these dark glasses that look like they're on that TBN program. I've had it. You know what? They're all connected. And you know what else I found out? They're all connected to these teeny little podcasts. All these people, they're all in a little network together. I don't want no part of these people. You know why? Because they don't want any part of the real truth, folks. All right, let's move on. Because the original intent of this broadcast is Black Friday. And that brings me to my second point about Black Friday. Do not bring any refrigerators or air conditioners or heat pumps into your house that have flammable gas as the refrigerant. Do you understand me? This is part of the agenda. They can blow up your house if you have a smart meter and your refrigerator's plugged into the wall, if you have a propane refrigerant in your air conditioner. I'm not kidding, folks. I'm not kidding. Okay? Did I tell you I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry, folks. I also have a bachelor's degree in biological science. And it doesn't take 5 years at UCI to realize that if you light a match to compress gas, or you run a surge through an electrical appliance that has a flammable compressed gas in a canister in it, it will blow the house to kingdom come. Oh my gosh. Let's get back to the 60 gigahertz stuff, folks. So this study was based at an analysis of between 5 and 8 millimeters of the wave size, and a all right. Well, it's going to be a milliwatt per square centimeter. That's what they studied 41 years ago, folks. They studied morphological, functional, and biochemical indicators which play an essential role in formation of reactions of the organism. Organism's a living being. And it disclosed various disorders in the experimental animals. This report, they studied this, the same power level and the same frequencies are going to run with 5G and WiGig. They found various disorders in these experimental animals. Now, in this case, they were Wistar rats. Of course, they use rats. By the way, you ever had a rat problem at your house? Well, I grow grapes, and I got rats in the backyard, and they're tough. They're tough as nails. I put traps out with peanut butter, and I control them. But sometimes they'll still be alive in the morning, even though their neck is broken and their head's stuck in the thing, and they'll sit there to try to chew their leg off to get out of the thing. You can't kill rats. They'll eat the poison, and they'll even survive. It's unbelievable. You know, when rats die, they get old, and they get, you know what happens? I have a pomegranate tree. I got lots of trees, folks, but I got this one pomegranate tree, and I positioned a few trees in my yard in the corners. I got a white mulberry in one of my corners, and that's there so the squirrels eat that instead of my Pakistani mulberries down closer to my house. I have a few trees in key positions that are sacrificial, so the animals that are native to the area, or not native to the area, but have taken residence in the area, like the possums and the squirrels and the raccoons and even the rats, because all you knuckleheads leave your cat and dog food outside, so you're feeding these rats 12 months a year. Well, I put these trees in these positions so the animals will eat these white mulberries instead of my juicy, long Pakistani red mulberries that I thoroughly enjoy. By the way, these Pakistani mulberries, I've got about 7 of these trees. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen! If you haven't had a Pakistani mulberry off of a tree, right off the tree, you know what you do is you go out there and you shake the tree, and they fall down when they're ready. Oh my gosh! You haven't lived until you've had some of those things. The flavor off the charts, the antioxidant content off the charts. But these rats are smart, and the only time I see them drop dead is when they engorge themselves so much on either a pomegranate that they've gotten their hands on, ate the whole thing, and they blow up like a balloon and they drop dead. That's what they're doing to the people, by the way. Just go to the grocery store and look at the stuff on the shelves. Anyway, so there's all these various disorders in these experimental animals, these Wistar rats. Rats are tough. They're a dime a dozen. They make babies like crazy. I mean, you think some people are sex maniacs? You know how many times rats have sex and make babies? Like every other day. It's crazy. All right, so they know that millimeter waves are weak. They don't penetrate that well. That's why they got to put these things really close to us. But check this out, folks. They investigated, and their investigations have shown that in the skin of the irradiated animals, deformations of the receptor apparatus and well-expressed changes of a reactive character were observed. That's a bad situation, folks. In the skin, check this out, hypertrophy of a portion of the fiber and sections with demyelination. In the neural conductors, in the dermis, among the collagen fibers, were small trunks of various thickness, the neural conductors of which were fragmented in separate cases, and phenomena of demyelination were observed in the surface layers. Ladies and gentlemen, they know that millimeter wave strips the insulation off the nerves in your skin. I'm going to repeat this. 1 milliwatt per centimeter squared, which is the power density being proposed by these systems. Wavelength of between 5 and 8 millimeters, which is right around 60 gigahertz, maybe going down to 20, up to 70 or 80. That's the range of 5G, folks. This is rats. 15 minutes a day for 2 months. These rats, check this out. This is just the skin. Well-expressed changes of a reactive character. That means it was very obvious that these waves were messing with these animals. In the skin layer, properly speaking, appeared bunches of nerve fibers with hypertrophy or a portion of the fiber in sections with demyelination. You start demyelinating nerve cells, what do you get? Multiple sclerosis. What happens when you demyelinate nerve cells in the spinal column? Acute flaccid myelitis, polio, paralysis. You bring home any more wireless devices for Black Friday, stop watching my shows and get out of town before you, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. You cannot bring any wireless devices into your house for Black Friday tomorrow. And you cannot bring any refrigerators or air conditioners that have a flammable refrigerant in them. Please, ladies and gentlemen, ask the showroom manager if this thing can blow up. Please, pretty please with sugar on top, so your neighborhood's not next. And no, it's not some, back to the issue of these supposed weapons from space. Do you know how much, okay, I've had boats, I've gone camping, I know what solar panels and deep cycle marine batteries need I know what it takes to run a stereo system out in Black Star Canyon, back when they were having the raves, folks. You couldn't do it with a series of car batteries and an inverter. You needed a generator. And generators need gasoline, and they're big and heavy and loud. And they're so heavy, they need freaking wheels. So how are you going to get something that has enough energy to zap from space 1,000 houses with a freaking solar panel? You're going to need a series of batteries the size of a school bus, solar panels the size of a house, an inverter the size of some of these women that browse the frosting section. I'm not kidding, folks. I'm pissed off because I'm sick of everybody being lied to and believing in things that don't exist when the solutions are as simple as unplugging a device in your wall, or as simple as not bringing a device into your home at all. Instead, no mention is made of this weaponry on the ground, and everybody's got you like these fear mongers like NASA Tavares has got you, oh, the weapons from space, and she's got people putting her crap out there that, look, you know who you are. You know who you are, and I'm on to you clowns, so don't worry about it. And I'm going to expose you clowns. And those of you who have these things that don't show your face, you know, you run these channels and you hide your identity, that tells it all. I'm an open book, folks. You're looking me in the freaking eyes right now. You see these? You're looking at me in the eyes. I'm not hiding behind some moniker or some fake name or some label. I'm real. I'm out in the open. And that's how we stay alive and we stay safe. We get out in the open and we tell the truth. Back to this millimeter wave barrage that they're about to unleash on us. with the 5G that they're trying to ram down your throat. You hear these commercials on the radio for 5G all the time. Aren't you sick of hearing how good this is? Because it's not good, folks. They want you to think it's good. That's like those drug commercials on Jeopardy. You know, I go visit my mom, and they're all the old ladies are staring at these TV sets watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And every other commercial is for pills, and they show everybody walking in the meadow and holding hands, and then the side effects is rolling down the side like the group chat here is right now, and this creepy elevator music come on in the background. It's like, oh yeah, renal failure, paralysis, death, cardiac arrest, myocardial infarction, all this stuff. I mean, why would you take a pill that can kill you? So anyway, 5G, millimeter wave technology, ladies and gentlemen. Their investigations, remember, this is 15 minutes a day for 60 days to rats. They're proposing 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for the rest of our freaking lives. And your stupid neighbors are okay with this, putting this shit in their house. They're weaponized idiots. And that's why they're all getting sick and having screwed up kids and health problems. Everybody I know that worships this crap's got messed up kids. And I'm not talking about like rebellious or out of control. I'm talking about kids that have chronic health problems or have congenital defects from birth. And you know what I'm talking about, folks. I got 4 children. 4. Can you see my fingers? I have 4 children. They haven't seen a doctor since the delivery room. And they're as healthy as you can get. They're as strong as you can get. They're as rebellious as you can get. They're human. They're not walking around with their feet turned inward with glasses on, you know, looking for their blankie, you know, sucking their thumb, getting all emotional about stuff. My boys are tough as nails. And my girls have all their eggs intact because the iPad hasn't had a chance to sterilize them in the public mind control systems that are staffed by my neighbors, and the weaponry that has been fundraised for the implementation and deployment of by my neighbors has not affected my children. It's affected theirs. Joke's on them, folks, not me. Joke better not be on you either. So let's move on, folks, because we're going to have a lesson here. And I hope I have your attention. So before you sit down to eat with your family, maybe you can talk about this information today instead of the basketball score, or I don't know, what's on TV right now? Is it basketball or is it football? Or is it baseball? I don't know. I don't watch TV. I don't know what bread and circus operation they got going to consume your conversations right now. But you need to talk to your family today about how not to have their house blown up by a power surge directly intended to destroy their home by igniting their refrigerator or their air conditioner that has a flammable gas refrigerant in it. And not to bring home any wireless devices for Black Friday tomorrow. And to unplug all this wireless stuff that's in the home already before you have another autistic kid, or you have another brain tumor, or you have another situation where another loved one's going to develop atrial fibrillation and need $5,000 a month worth of medication. I could go on, but I'm talking not about microwaves here. I'm talking about millimeter waves, the 5G that's coming. So we already know that it demyelinates the nerves in the skin. Hey, that's just first base, folks. Shall we move on? So, in the dermis, among the collagen fibers were small chunks of various thickness, the neural conductors of which were fragmented. Did you hear that? The neural conductors were fragmented. So not only does it strip off the insulation, demyelinates, it chops up the frickin' wires. Neural conductors that were defragmented. Are you kidding me? Phenomenons of demyelination were once again observed in the surface layers. So it chops up the wires, strips off the insulation. Nice, huh? Oh, isn't 5G wonderful? Is it really that important for you to download a movie in 30 seconds instead of a minute and a half? You see how we're being calm? This is a kill grid, folks. All right, so as the result of histomorphological analysis showed, check this out. In the functionally active structures of tissue of the myocardium, liver, kidneys, and spleen, disorders of the hemodynamics were established. Do you hear that? You want dialysis You want a dialysis machine for a Christmas present? Are you ready for one? Are you ready for your membership in a dialysis clinic? Would you like to sit in one of those nice, comfortable chairs as they hook up the catheter twice a week? Disruption of the permeability of the vesicular membranes, the appearance of micronecroses, and subsequent tissue dystrophy. Did you catch all that? Do you know what dystrophy? Do you know what muscular dystrophy is? Well, it's actually the new polio. They just renamed it after you want your muscles not to work. You want your limbs just to go numb. By the way, this is a CIA document. It's what our government's involved in, folks. Moreover, qualitative and quantitative shifts were revealed in the erythrocytic and leukocytic composition of the blood of irradiated animals, indicating suppression of the hemopoietic function of the bone marrow and lymphatic system. All right, so, hey, I'm not going to even go into all of the details here, folks. This stuff, the Bible says the life is in the blood. This stuff, I'm doing everything I can to alert you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm doing everything I can to tell you that what is coming is a kill grid. I'm going to read this again. Qualitative and quantitative shifts were revealed in the erythrocytic and leukocytic composition of the blood of irradiated animals. You know what erythrocytes and lymphocytes are? You know what happens when your lymphocytes are out of whack and your erythrocytes are out of whack? You know what leukemia is? You know what autoimmune disease is? Well, that's what's all over the place. You know why people are getting leukemia? You know why little kids are getting leukemia? From electromagnetic fields. You want to know who's going to get leukemia? The kids sitting in these electric cars with their stupid yuppie parents. Do you know what kind of electromagnetic fields come off of a house with a solar system on it? Do you know what kind of dirty electricity and electromagnetic fields are going through the wires with all these inverters and I mean, look, folks, wait till the 5G comes. Oh my gosh. Qualitative and quantitative shifts were revealed in the erythrocytic and leukocytic composition of the blood of irradiated animals, indicating suppression of the hemopoietic function of the bone marrow and lymphatic system. We know this is for millimeter wave exposure. We know that with microwave exposure, a phenomenon occurs in individuals that are subjected to chronic levels of microwave radiation. And that is a condition of anemia arises because what happens is iron is a microwave absorber, and the iron levels in the blood are dropped because the body pulls the iron stores into the bone marrow to protect the bone marrow from bombardment. We know this. That's why there's a common denominator in autism. In these children, there's a common denominator that they have low iron levels. The chronically exposed children in the womb and chronically exposed children in the crib and in the classroom and in the car. You know, all you morons that went out and bought electric cars with Wi-Fi, you know, you're riding on an electromagnetic field, you know, the electric motor. Have you ever taken an electromagnetic field reading inside a Tesla or a Chevy Volt? You people think I'm kidding? You think I'm joking right now? You know, the fields are bad enough in a 20-year-old BMW. I mean, if you get right under the dashboard, you're going to get some stuff. But if you're sitting back in the nice reclinable seat, the levels are low. No more than an incandescent light bulb 5-6 feet away. Because they have a wiring harness and it's all insulated. A Tesla? You might as well drive around a nuclear reactor, for crying out loud. The fields are off the charts in those things. Hey, but it's cool, right? Even though the logo on the Tesla, check this out. Go look at one next time you see one. It's Nikola Tesla's death ray hitting the dome and going this way, coming back down. And we'll get into more of that. I had a brief discussion about the trade centers and some of these other buildings that are actually Tesla technology. I'm not kidding. Why do you think they have these massive antennas on them? North Tower, World Trade Center. Oh, did I tell you that the boiler was on the top? The boilers were on the top of the towers instead of in the basement. Think about that. All right, so back to millimeter wave technology, folks. So we got suppression of the homeostatic function of the bone marrow and lymphatic system. So when you mess with that, guess what happens, folks? You know what's in your bone marrow? Red blood cells. Your lymphatic system, that's part of your immune system. The lymphatic system carries stuff away after your cells have destroyed and killed off and broken things down that it doesn't need. You know, when your cells take a poop, your lymphatic system, it carries things away. You get lymph nodes. You know, you got all these things. You got all these filters. You got these tonsils, and you got these lymph nodes, and you got all these repositories of waste and disease and things that are not supposed to be floating around in the blood. Well, we got a situation here where the millimeter waves screw up the bone marrow function. That's bad news, folks. Because you know what red blood cells do? They carry oxygen. Now, these satanic evil bastards that have invented WiGig and 5G, they use the frequency of oxygen molecules to broadcast at. So not only do we know that the millimeter waves affect the red blood cells, they also affect the oxygen molecules themselves. This is from the pit of hell, folks. All right, so let's talk about red blood cells. Noted in the composition of the red blood was eosinophila, neutrophila, and lymphopenia, and lowering of the hemoglobin level and reduction in the number of erythrocytes were observed, which was determined to a considerable degree by retention of erythrocytes in the bone marrow. In the latter occurred an increase of the number of erythroblastic cells and decrease of cells of the leukoblastic series. Now, I want you out there who are immunologists to digest that for just a moment. And you tell me how anyone in their right mind could allow this weaponry to be deployed against human beings, much less Wistar rats in a cage. This is a kill grid, ladies and gentlemen. Under the effect of millimeter waves of low intensity, the degree of affection depends on the general condition of the organism and is evidently not so great as the observed disorders are in the main reversible. You see how this works? You see how this works, folks? You know how they are going to get away by doing this to us and not to them? Even if they have a small amount of exposure, the effects are reversible. See, the key here is, folks, the key here is that they can't win unless they can keep this stuff turned on us all the time. And if we keep our exposure and our power levels down. Now, a characteristic feature of the biological effect of radio waves was changes in the state of various sections of the central and vegetative nervous systems, which involve directly or indirectly disorders of the principal functions of the organisms. As a result, the investigations conducted by us on animals irradiated with millimeter waves, disorders of conditioned reflex activity have been established, weakening of the stimulatory processes, reduction of the size of the latent period in response to different conditioned stimuli, light, noise, and pain, and disinhibition or differentiation reactions. Okay, so this is how they're going to turn us into zombies, folks. That, in a nutshell, is how they're going to turn us into zombies. They're going to numb us after they destroy our immune systems and our body's ability to produce red blood cells and white blood cells and mess up our lymphatic systems. Now, this is all the while I can flip a couple pages in here and talk about how the current GSM technology, the current 900 to 1800 megahertz, and even up to the Wi-Fi, the gigahertz, affects blood pressure. You see, this is a binary weapon system, folks. You see, I don't want to burden you anymore with this. I'm just telling you right now, the 5G is a kill grid. It is a weapon, folks. And this is a field of study. This is a field of study, ladies and gentlemen, that they don't want you to know about. Okay? This book's not available in the United States. There's probably 2 or 3 copies in libraries throughout the United States. And what they don't want you to understand is the effect that radio waves have on biological systems. But when I was in college, they made sure that I understood. They made sure that I understood the effects of pharmaceutical compounds on chemical systems and biological systems. Because what they did in college to me was they made me learn frontwards and backwards organic chemistry reactions. Did any of you have OChem in college? It's quite a class. Well, it's all about drug interactions. They're prepping you for drug interactions, folks. This is the stuff I studied in college. I was able to go and sit down in a room, and they would tell me, okay, how do you make aspirin out of petroleum? And they would sit there and they would put me in a laboratory. And looks like we're losing one of our pictures here in my studio, folks. So we're going to switch the prop, okay, real quick. I think we should go to something probably a little nicer here. There we go. How's that? All right. So look, folks, this is how they operate, okay? This is how they operate. They got us brainwashed into learning about how drugs interact with the human body, and they don't have anybody learning about what the radio waves are doing to us. My message to you today. My message to you today is understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the people behind this have a real serious problem. They have a couple serious problems, folks. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I can find what I'm looking for here. And I'm not sure it's where I think it is, but I'm going to check just a second. That's not it. That's not it. It might be here. Well, I'm just going to sum up. I'm going to sum up what I just talked about, folks. Millimeter waves. I've got the CIA report right here on several millimeter waves are a weapon. It's a kill grid, folks. And you got to do everything you can not to bring millimeter wave devices into your home. I'm talking about WiGig access points. They're coming. You cannot allow 5G to go up on the light pole in front of your house. You cannot allow these people to put 5G transmitters on your property. It is criminal. What they're setting up is a criminal kill grid. We got people who are pushing the lies of NASA, who are pushing the lies of evolution, who are pushing fear-mongering, who are hiding the truth from you by having you be paranoid of being attacked from some laser beam from some airplane. They won't tell you that all you got to do is unplug stuff from your wall and not bring it into your house. See, folks, it is not hopeless. We're not living in a hopeless situation. Because one of the things that these fear-mongers will never talk about is Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. Because they don't believe in him. They're working for the other side, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. I serve the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. I serve his Father. And guess what I get? I get the Holy Spirit, folks. You see, you know how I figure all this stuff out? It's not because I'm smart. You know what it's because of? It's because of the mind that God put inside my head and the wisdom that he funnels through this thing. And you see these eyes? I don't fill them with filth. I don't watch television. You see these ears? I don't listen to filth. I don't listen to the Hollywood music. I don't listen to the satanic mind control. You know what I do? You see what's behind me here, folks? This piece right here, this is one of the foremost artists and conservationists in Maui. This is an art piece from her. And this right here is how we're supposed to live. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy. And even though I live in a city, I have lots of trees on my property, and I spend all my time outdoors as much as I can, getting sunlight through these eyes. And there's a lot of wires in my house, folks. Everything connected to a monitor or a computer is connected with an Ethernet cable. That's right, folks. That's right. And I don't use LED light bulbs in my house. I'll tell you what, you get yourself any kind of a detector, and you'll see the magnetic fields coming off of these LED lights. It's amazing. These LED lights put out a lot of dirty electricity, and they may save electricity, but there's another purpose for these things, and I'll get into that later. But we cannot these are the words of Jesus himself. He says, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not cast out devils in thy name and done many wonderful works?" And you know what he says? He says, "Depart from me, for I never knew you, you that work iniquity." He says, "Get away from me." You know these circus clowns on TV that want your money? They're not doing his work. You know these guys in the pulpit on Sunday that will never tell you about any of this stuff? They're not doing his work. Do you know what, folks? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Do you know the truth? Here's the truth. That God took longer to make you and I than it took him to make the heavens and the earth. Because he made the heavens and the earth in 6 days. And he took 9 months to make you and I. That's the truth, folks. And you know what the dirtbags in the school district tell your kids? Oh, that we're some accident, that evolution made all this. Really? You think evolution made those fish that I caught yesterday? You think evolution made the herons and the gulls and the seals and the pelicans and the cormorants that I saw yesterday? Do you think the organs inside the fish that I was cleaning yesterday are some evolutionary accident? Do you know these fish that I was cleaning? They have a liver, they have a spleen, they have a heart, they have a small intestine, a large intestine, they have an egg sac. That's right. And they have bones, and they have muscles and scales and fins and eyes and a mouth and a brain and a nervous system. You actually believe that's an accident? I'll tell you what's no accident, folks. They've got technology that attacks the very thing that God has created for life to exist. And they're putting it everywhere. But it's only if you let them. You know what I say? To all of you who deny Jesus Christ, and to all of you who go along with this weapons deployment and remain silent, to all of you who think it's okay to go along, to get along, and be enamored with all of this weaponry, to all of you, I have a warning. I have a warning for you. And you know what? So does the one who walked out of that tomb after they tried to nail him to a cross and rip his body open and beat the crap out of him to where you couldn't even recognize him as a human being. And then they stuck a crown of thorns on his head and they strung him up there. You know what he says? Check this out. This is a warning to all of you who are too afraid to speak up and to show your face and to tell the truth and to stand with the truth and try to warn others about what's coming. Here's a message for you. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. We're going to overcome, folks. We're not going to quit. And I will be his God, and he shall be my son. How'd you like to be called the son of the creator of the universe? That privilege was reserved for Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. But you know what? It's reserved for all of us as well. But here's the deal. But the fearful, oh yeah, you cowards, the unbelieving, yeah, you guys that deny Jesus Christ, the abominable, yeah, you know, the guys that run Hollywood, the guys that make all these disgusting food products, and the women. I'm not just saying men. The men and women who sit on the boards and directors of these corporations, and the murderers. You know who you are. You're the ones making this technology, because this stuff's going to kill us. Or at least you're going to try. And you people in the pharmaceutical industry that work your sorcery. The whoremongers. Okay, you know who the whoremongers are? Those are the Illuminati sex slaves and all the transvestites on television, the men dressed up like women. That's right. That are having sex with everybody except their spouse, and they want you to do the same thing. That's right. And the sorcerers, yeah, you know, all the Disney Channel stuff, all the witchcraft, the spell casting, the incantation, the sorcery, the necromancy. That's right. The bestiality, Beauty and the Beast. That's right. Idolaters, you know, you people who worship your cars and your technology and your career, especially the people in my community. Because on my block, it runs a gamut. I got the superintendent of a college district that put the Wi-Fi in. I got some people down the street that are working for the wireless company that's going to put the 5G in. I got people on this street who are in the school district as employees of the school district, who courted the administration to bring wireless into the high schools, and who set up foundations to fundraise to bring wireless into the elementary. I even got people on this street who are in the FBI. What have they done to stop this? Not a damn thing. Nothing. So, you know, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, for it's the second death. You want to know something, folks? The first in line are the cowards. And I hate to knock everybody, but we're in deep trouble, folks. We're in deep trouble because they got a weapons grid that they knew what the effects were 40 years ago. This is from 1977. Remember 1977? I think it was Al Stewart, the year of the cat, and gas was like, I don't know, 60 cents a gallon. Everything was 4-barrel carburetors with 350 cubic inch engines, shag carpeting, and, you know, disco balls, and John Travolta, and, you know, Saturday Night Fever, and all that stuff. And you see, when we were watching Saturday Night Fever, they were trying to figure out a way to bring a real fever by cooking us. Okay, folks? That's my warning to everybody that doesn't want to get with the truth, okay? And this isn't some religious fanatic, folks. These are scientific facts, and these are scriptural facts. And I bring them to you on the eve of Black Friday, folks. On the eve of Black Friday. You better put your trust in Jesus Christ, and you better put your faith in him, because the days are coming that will try men's souls. Right now, you may have a few bucks in the bank. You may have a turkey that's in the oven right now. You may have those pies, and you can't wait to put that whipped cream on there, and you know the percolator's going. The stuffing's got nice seasoned sausage in it. Fresh cranberries are being cooked up on the stove right now with freshly picked oranges, like in my house. Look, folks, I'm not saying not to enjoy that. But how do we sleep when our beds are burning, folks? They're burning. They're burning. The pulpits are asleep, the churches are worthless, and the government is turning on its people. And I will say, folks, that unless we wake up, you know, we cannot let them get away with this, folks. We cannot let them get away with this. They are not going to get away with this. We cannot allow these people to do this to us, okay? We've got to not bring this stuff into our homes. We cannot allow these people to install this weaponry. We cannot allow these people to install this weaponry on our property. We cannot allow these people that are drunk on all this technology to destroy our race, okay? The current wireless systems are a sterilization agenda. And what is coming with this 5G is a kill grid, folks. And aside from the kill grid, it's a total information awareness network. It's unbelievable what they have planned. but they're only going to get away with it if you hand them the keys to your house. And some of you will willingly do that. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And as for all you cowards out there that don't want to stand up and fight for the rest of us, you know those people? You know those people on the Titanic that were in the bar drinking that nice cognac up on the top deck? They were still playing blackjack or bridge in the bar. You know what happened when the water level finally hit them? Same thing that happened to everybody else, folks. You who are listening to me have been given the opportunity to not only save your life and your children's lives and your family's lives, but your souls as well. And please don't let these warnings go unheeded, folks. The key to eternal life is Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, faith in him alone. And the key to health and happiness is to avoid the weaponry. And the key to wisdom is a connection with Almighty God through his Son, Jesus Christ, and not allowing the vile, debaucherous, mind control filth from the media to come in through these eyes and through these ears. Your eyes are a window to your soul. May the window be full of goodness and light. God bless all of you, and happy Thanksgiving. In Jesus' name we go. Amen.